Hey folks, I am Troy and you're watching TroyTube. A few weeks ago, I asked you to help me test some software and you came out in droves. There's quite a few people that have taken advantage of this free utility that I set up. And so far, I think it's working great for folks. So stick around, we'll be back in a minute to talk about it. So printers that aren't used very often, and I'm talking about inkjet printers, tend to dry up and clog. The heads and the ink will dry up. You'll have to run a cleaning. In the case of Epson printers, sometimes you have to run a power cleaning, which is kind of hard on them if you do it very many times. But it's basically for non-use. Not everyone prints constantly, so there's a way to get around this for a lot of inkjet printers. The key to it is a lot of the printers have the ability to set them up so that you can send an email and print a document to them. Epson has Epson Connect. I think the other printers, some of them have this capability as well. You'll have to check your printer to see if you have this capability. You check with the vendor, the manufacturer's website, look up your model number, and find out all the additional features that come with it other than just printing. Like I said, with Epson, it's Epson Connect, and I'll switch over to the computer and show you how to set that up with Epson Connect. Other brands, you'll just kind of have to figure that out. Basically it comes down to the fact that if you can send an email to your printer and get it to print a page, a document that's attached to it, you can use this utility. I'm going to show you how to set it up for Epson and Epson Connect for regular consumer grade Epson inkjet printers, and this can be done with any that support this feature, whether they're eco tanks or cartridges or anything, whether you're using them for just inkjet printing, regular printing, or if you're using them for sublimation printing or even something else. So I know there's some people out there that experiment with DTF and things with Epson printers. Anyway, essentially the utility lets you set up a schedule to send a test page that prints just a little test pattern on it and uses a tiny bit of ink. You leave regular copy paper in your printer if it's not just a regular printer. If you're doing sublimation, you don't typically leave your paper in there anyway, but leave copy paper in your printer. My recommendation is to set it up to print once a week. That's 52 pages a year. So the price of a page of copy paper and just a tiny bit of ink once a week, it's probably, like my estimate's like $1.50 a year to do this. The great thing is quite a few people have been doing this for several weeks now, and I've had no one tell me that their printer has clogged after using this utility. And my printers haven't clogged. I have a couple here that I haven't printed to for a few weeks, and they still print great when the test page comes out. So I think this is working great. You can set it up for more than once a week, but I would only do that if you have that problem. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe there's some environmental conditions, low humidity, maybe dry climates out in the mountains in Utah or something like that might have some effect on this. But start with once a week. If you notice that it's still giving you that problem after, if you don't print for 4, 5, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever, and you still kind of get that problem, you might go twice a week, but typically once a week is just fine. The key to it, other key to it is to schedule it at a time when you're least likely to be using your printer, maybe 6 a.m. or something like that if you're not an early bird, or maybe a late night on a Friday night or something like that when you're more likely to be out with the family instead of crafting. But just leave that copy paper in there and let it print its test page. So I'll move over to the computer. We'll show you how to set this up with the Epson Connect and on your profile on the TroyTube.net website, which is where this is located. Again, this is a free utility, free service. Set it up, see what you think. If you have any problems with it, let me know. Pay close attention to the setup instructions I'm about to show you too, because it's very important that you follow them specifically. The biggest things I have issues with is people not putting in the full email address in the email address field, or if they have more than one printer, the multiple email addresses are separated by a single comma, no space or anything. And for some reason, some people can't get that typed in there correctly. So follow my instructions very closely. The instructions are also on the screen. So feel free to set this up. And if you have any problems with it, let me know. But we'll switch over the computer and get you started. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do, if you have an Epson printer, that is, if you have another brand printer that has the capability to send an email to print a document that's attached to the email, then you'll have to figure that out with your manufacturer and your printer model and how to set that up. The key to it is if you can send an email to your printer to print a document, then you should be able to use this utility. If you cannot send an email from your personal email address, this utility will not work. The test is send an email to it. If you can make it work and make it print, then come to my utility and set up. Otherwise, the support, I just can't help you set that up, that side of it. You'll have to get that working yourself and then come and set it up on my utility. If you have an Epson, this is how you can set it up. And if you have a different brand, maybe you can watch this video and it'll help you as well. But I'm going to show how to set it up on Epson Connect. I already have an account. If you don't have one, you'll need to create one with Epson Connect. Normally this is set up with your printer out of the box, but a lot of people skip this part of it. So the Epson Connect, I'm going to go log into my user page. And I have several printers set up here at the office to print this test page and have this capability. So I'm going to click on one of these. You'll want to add one to your list. I'll click on one of mine and show you, walk you through the settings. Once the printer is set up and you can click on it and go into the settings, the first thing you're going to want to do is set a printer email address. It will give you a big, long, cryptic email address that Epson assigns. That is perfectly fine to use if you want to use that. There's very little chance anybody's going to guess it. If you're going to do this regularly from your email, you might want to set up a more friendly email address, but I wouldn't make it too friendly because someone could guess that and compromise your printer and send a bunch of print jobs to it or something like that. But you can also filter that out. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. So you're going to want to set your email address and save it. You can give your printer a description if you'd like. It's helpful if you have multiple printers. And on the email notifications, I have mine set to only notify me when errors occur. Through the troubleshooting process, you might check off a few of these others until you know it's working. But once it's all working and everything, I just let it notify me if any errors occur. Sometimes I forget to put paper in the printer after I print a sublimation job. So I like to get these notifications. Down here under email print, you can suspend and resume the service. So if you maybe have your printer offline, or maybe you're going on vacation, or actually the whole purpose of this would be that if you go on vacation or you're away from your printer, to keep your printer working. But maybe you're moving, maybe your printer is going to be set unplugged and unhooked for 2 weeks or something, or moved to storage. So you may want to suspend that service. And you can actually, on my site, you can actually turn the feature on and off as well. So if you or just want to suspend sending the emails, the test jobs to your printer, then go to my site. I'll show you how to do that in a moment, and you can turn it off. You can set an approved senders list, which I do recommend. So if you set the used approved senders list, make sure you add this address, noreply@troytube.org, to the approved senders list so that my test page will come through. Printing size, you're typically going to want to do this on just letter size paper. You're just printing it to copy paper. Uncheck the photo paper printing. And then down below that, I uncheck all of these. That way it only prints the actual test page and not everything else that comes with it, like the email content. And of course, there is a print log that shows you everything that was printed this way. Now, once you have those set up, you should be able to send an email from your personal email address, assuming if you set up the filter on the approved senders list, that your email address is in here as well. So don't let that trip you up. If you use the approved senders list, make sure you add my email address as well as any other email addresses you're going to send from. And once you have it set up to where you can send an email address and print an attached document, so you'll need to send an email and attach just a PDF file or a Word document or something like that to your printer and make sure that it works. And once you have that working, then you can set up the profile on my website. And to do that, once you're logged into the TroyTube.net website, click on your name up here at the top right corner, which, by the way, I highly recommend doing this on a computer, not on a mobile device or a tablet, just because the menus are easier to get to and read. It can be done on a mobile device or a browser on a tablet, but I highly recommend doing this on a computer desktop just to set it up. And once we click on our name, we're going to go down to Profile and go to Edit. And then on your profile, you'll see a tab here called Schedule Printer Test Page. And there is a feature here at the top to enable or disable it. Like I said, if you're going on, say you're moving, your printer's going to be unplugged for a couple of weeks, you could uncheck this and we won't send that. The only thing that will happen is if you don't, you'll get, if you have your email set up on Epson Connect to send you an error when, email when an error occurs, then you'll just get an email from them saying it, was unable to print. And then in all likelihood, when you hook your printer back up, it'll spit that test page out. But you'll put your email address down here, and this is obviously a fake email address. I'm not going to tell you what my email address is for my printers, but if you wanted to set up more than one, again, this is the part people are having problems with. Put your email addresses in here with a single comma between them, no spaces, no semicolons or anything like that. A single comma is what you want here, and that's shown up here in the example as well. And you're going to set it for which day you want it to run. Again, I recommend starting with 1 day a week. And if you have problems, then you could increase it. But usually 1 day a week is perfectly fine. And then the time of day that you want it to run, and then save changes. If you want to check, now this is based on Eastern time. I have that note in here, by the way. So you'll have to calculate if you are in a different time zone, you will have to calculate the difference of what time of day. For example, if you have an example down here, if you set it for 4 p.m. and you're in the Pacific time zone, you're 3 hours behind my website, so it's going to run at 1 p.m. your time. And I have a link here. You can visit time.gov for time zone information, but we are in the Eastern time zone, and that's what this time is based on. You'll also notice the settings for privacy cannot be changed. They are set to only me, so no one else on my site can see your profile and click and see what your printer email addresses are or anything. So just wanted to point that out as well. And if you want to, what I was going to say is if you want to test this quickly, you can set it for whatever day it is. For example, if today is Saturday and I'm setting this up and it's 2:45 p.m. Eastern time and I want it to print at that 3 p.m. Eastern time, I could set this and save it and just wait 15 minutes and make sure it's going to print okay. Again, troubleshooting, if you can not send an email to your printer and make it print, you cannot make this work. You'll need to make that work first, and once that's working and you put everything in here correctly, you should not have any problems. So setting this up is really easy. Again, it's a weekly test page, and this should keep your printer from clogging from non-regular use. So there you have it, the complete setup for Epson Connect and the TroyTube.net anti-printer clogging utility, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully this works out for you. Again, this is a free service just for being a member of our site, and let me know how it works out for you. If you have any questions or problems, post them in the comments below the video. Hey folks, I just wanted to take a minute to thank everyone for the love, kindness, and support that you've provided to Tammy and I over the past several years. It's been almost 10 years, believe it or not, been 8.5 years since we bought our first Cricut, so we're almost a decade into new careers for both of us. So when you buy great products like Orcal 651, Thermoflex heat transfer vinyl, DPI sub, premium sublimation ink, blanks, any of those things that you buy from our site help support us and our employees families. Don't forget about our subscription and membership, which gives you access to our e-learning courses and also significant discounts on product purchases as well. So if you like our videos and everything we do, click the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. And when you do, click the bell next to it so that you'll get notified when I publish new videos. And then in the video description, there's also links to all of our Facebook groups, our Facebook pages. So joining those groups, liking our pages, leaving us reviews helps us out immensely. And we thoroughly enjoy every minute of this journey along this path with you to bring love, kindness, and hope to the world using your crafting hobby or small business, whether it's been in person, on the phone, or through social media.